Good morning, family. Good morning. This is Camille, owner and recruiter at Rig on Wheels. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. So like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. I have a topic about accidents and moving violations as a driver. And I do talk about it a lot, of course, obviously. But I had a driver yesterday, and he's not really a relatively new driver. Clean record, but got in an unfortunate accident a little while back and was kind of feeling discouraged. And as I was talking to him about things and kind of letting him know what his, not rights, but more or less like what his rights were and what he can do and where he was in the process of being able to get with a different company and all of that stuff, he let me know he wished that this is stuff that they talked about in truck driving school or training or even in orientations at companies. So I said, let me do a video. As per usual, you all give me definitely the topics to talk about. It's very important. So what I did was I wrote down some notes so I can really go over it. Now, as you know, I recruit for over 50 companies. So with saying that, each company is going to have their own requirements. However, what I'm going to do is talk about the majority of them, and it's not going to just be the companies that I recruit for. It's just literally going to be the majority of companies and how things work, okay? So typically, if you get in an accident and you get ticketed, this doesn't matter if you are in your commercial vehicle or your personal vehicle. When you get ticketed in an accident, the officer has already deemed it to be your fault, okay? If both parties get tickets, they're kind of 50-50 in it. If nobody gets a ticket, then they're about 50-50 in the responsibility. However, there are some key crashes that more times than not will always be the professional driver's preventable versus non-preventable accidents, okay? Also, accidents and incidents are typically looked at very, very similar, okay? So when a recruiter or the company asks you, how many accidents have you had in the last 5 years? They're also talking about that back-end incident that you had at the yard. They're also going to talk about that blowout that you had. And then you kind of want to, this is what I tell the drivers, tell me and I'll tell you if that's relevant for the question. But it's better for me to know so I can put you in with a company that will actually take you versus us wasting, valuable time. But let's go over the accidents. Okay, so key crashes. This is not going to be all of them, but and every company does not consider all of these crashes to be key. But what I did was take the majority of the companies that I deal with or recruit for on a regular basis and take their key crashes and kind of put it into one list. Okay, there are going to be some crashes that every company is going to consider to be key. Okay, so first is going to be lane change accident. Okay, so that's also a side swipe. Okay, now these key crashes can be in your personal or in your commercial vehicle. You can let me know which one is which, obviously, because sometimes it makes a difference, but it can be in either one of them. But the lane change accident, if you think about it, that's more like a side swipe. So that typically goes hand in hand. Then a jackknife. You know what a jackknife is when that happens. And there sometimes is going to be a difference if it was a jackknife actually on the street or if it was in the yard. Okay, so do be open about what happened in the accident. Okay, also loss of control. So this is one that the reason why I asked the drivers to really explain to me what happened, because sometimes they'll say keywords, lost control. And then when I hear what happened, I'm like, you didn't lose control. But when you say lost control in a professional driver position, it means something a lot bigger than if you did not have a driver's license. So that's the reason why I want you to explain to me what it means, okay? Then you have rear end. I don't give a hoot nanny if you in your personal vehicle or if you in a commercial vehicle. Rear end is going to be 9.9999% of the time is going to be the driver's fault that did the rear end. Now, I have some companies that say if you were going slow, then we may not count it as a key crash, okay? But that's a conversation. Side impact, that's like a T-boning. Running under. So if you running under something, that's also a key crash. I don't get that one as much. I get it where somebody ran up under you, ran under your trailer or something like that. But I don't get that one as much. And a rollover. Okay? If you flip that sucker on the side, that's a rollover. Period. Okay? That is a rollover. Now, the reasons why it's important for you to just kind of be open as to what's going on, so I can specifically tell you what companies and the rights that you have and where you should go, versus me putting you in with a company that it's just literally just gonna waste time, and I can put you somewhere that we can really get you to working, and all of that. Now, with saying that, I have companies, even with those key crashes, that as long as you're doing safe driving within 12 months, I can still get you to work with them, okay? If you are terminated, typically the magic number is going to be 12 months from the time you were terminated. It doesn't matter if it wasn't one of these key crashes. If you was terminated for tickets or accidents, that's considered safety, okay? Which means it's typically going to be 12 or 18 months. Sometimes longer than that, and sometimes less than that, because I do have a couple of companies that look at the entire application as a whole, okay? But my point is not to go through each and every company I have. My point is to just kind of talk about these key crashes and what they mean, okay? So I don't want you to get discouraged, because unlucky things happen sometimes. You're a driver, so something is going to be bound to happen. But if we know what it is, then I can tell you, kind of advise you on which way to go, versus you running into somebody and they're just looking at the dollar part of it, and they're not giving you the honesty of what's happening, okay? So I want to move into the moving violations. A DUI, a lot of times, minimum, I need it to be over 5 years. I have some 7 years, some 10 years, but generally the companies that I have are 5 years. Leaving the scene of an accident. Driving under a suspended or revoked license. That's a huge one as well. Speeding 15 miles or over. Okay? 15 miles or over. It's where that's considered a large moving violation. Also, reckless or careless. Some companies use reckless and careless as one word. Some companies split it, and one weighs more than the other, okay? Then you have improper or erratic lane changes, bobbing in and out of traffic. Now, that could be in your personal vehicle, Houston, Texas, or it could be in your commercial vehicle. Also, following too close. I know some states, with kind of being in the field and have lived in multiple states, you're going to have places like Chicago where following too close, that right there is serious. The law enforcement plays no games about that. Then welcome to Houston, Texas, where it is the cowboy state and everybody runs up behind you and goes nowhere. Nowhere to go. It's a light, it's traffic, whatever. So I don't see as many of those tickets south as I do in the Midwest. Okay. Another one is a cell phone ticket. That's considered a distraction. So distraction tickets are huge because, i.e., they can lead to all of this other stuff. Okay. So I don't care, what state that you're in, what city you in, what county you in, what road you on. You're a professional driver. So as a professional driver, when you sitting in that semi or your Class B, whatever it is, when you sitting in your DOT regulated vehicle, you cannot touch your GPS. You can't have it in your hand. You can be up there and touch it, but you can't have it in your hand. You can't have your cell phone in your hand. You can't have your radio in your hand. Okay? You can't have those things in your hands. I don't care if you are in a state where it's not illegal. You can't do it as a professional driver. So I do want to make that clear. And those big moving violations like that, some of them do kind of eliminate your application for a year, and some you have to have multiple of them, or they'll say only one in this year, or only one in the last 3 years, and things like that. So my point isn't just to tell you the 1, 3, and 5 years on whether it's an accident or the moving violation. Really what my point is to tell you what your big crashes are and what your big or major moving violations are. Okay. Definitely give me a call, text me. If you're not sure, message me underneath here. Call me, text me, something real quick like that. That is not a problem. 708-714-2724. 708-714-2724. You can text and or call, leave a message. My voicemail works 24 hours a day. I always tell drivers, I wake up and get to the office and I'll have 7 to 8 voicemails that were left at 2 in the morning. That's not a problem. That's what the voicemail is for. So don't feel like you're calling at a wrong time. Also, please like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. Also, thank you so much for giving me all of the topics to talk about, because it allows me to know that if 1 or 2 drivers has these questions or concerns, there are thousands of drivers that do. And it's not that I'm going to be able to talk about each one of the points, but I do want you to know, please call me. Let's talk about it. Let's see what it is that I can do. Let's see if you need to stay at the company you're at for another 6 months. Let's see if I can get you somewhere else. Okay? Thanks. Be blessed and be safe. Bye-bye.